Introduction to the book of Philippians. Cheerful sounds from a jail cell. Joy when it's least expected. Finally, my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. According to Philippians 3, chapter 1. Joy. The word is a quick, poignant ring to it. Yet, it, like other words, has been drained of meaning over the years. Nowadays, joy is used most commonly for a sensation like thrill. When you feel like despairing, Philippians uses the word joy or rejoice every few paragraphs. But the joy it describes doesn't vanish after your heart starts beating normally again. Rejoice, says Paul, when someone selfishly tries to steal the limelight from you, and when you meet persecution for your faith, and when you are facing death. In fact, the most joyous book in the Bible comes from the pen of an author chained to a Roman guard. Many scholars believe Paul wrote Philippians in Rome just about the time Nero began tossing Christians to ravenous lions and burning them as torches to illuminate his banquets. How could a rational man devote a letter to the topic of joy while his survival was in serious jeopardy? In such an environment, how could joy possibly thrive? Turning evil into good. Paul hints at an answer in a burst of eloquence in chapter 2, verses 5 to 11. This pithy, metrical paragraph may have been a hymn familiar to the early church. In it, Paul discusses Christ's perspective in coming to earth. During the Christmas season, we celebrate the grand night God visited earth as a baby. But to the rest of the universe, the event looked like an astounding humiliation. God, the creator of all, took on the unimpressive body of a human being to endure a confining life and grisly death on planet Earth. Paul points to this death to show that God can take even the darkest moment in history and turn it into good. The cross and Jesus not staying dead proves that nothing is powerful enough to stamp out a reason for joy. Joy in the Lord, as Paul says. Victory in jail. Thus, even the normally depressing state of imprisonment didn't bother Paul. As he wrote Philippians, he must have recalled his first visit to Philippi. Then, a most unusual jailbreak occurred. The jail broke, but the prisoners didn't, according to Acts 16, verses 22 to 28. Even when Paul stayed in jail for long periods, God used the experience to advance the gospel. As he wrote Philippians, conversions were occurring among the Roman palace soldiers, forced by guard duty to overhear Paul's daily ministry. Paul summarized his life philosophy in a famous, to quote, "to be or not to be," concluding that to live is Christ and to die is gain, according to chapter 1, verse 21. God is even stronger than death, and that makes Christians' joy indestructible. So how are we going to read Philippians? Philippians is simple and straightforward. It is not a formal treatise, but a warm letter to friends. So read it like you would read any personal letter. With the clues Paul gives, try to imagine the relationship between him and the Philippians. What did he like about them? Why were they so important to him? The introduction refers to the common use of the words joy and rejoice. And check out each of these, noticing how Paul can find joy in any circumstance or circumstances. Use Philippians like a devotional book First, reflecting on what it says, then applying it to your own life. When it comes to the reading plan for Philippians, of course, we have Plan 1 and Plan 2 as usual. For Plan 1 of Overview of Philippians, you can do that in one day. So read the introduction to the Philippians or to the book of Philippians, just like what we've done, and then proceed to chapter 2. Now, note especially the central passage set off in verse form. Now check on verses 5 to 11. Now for Plan 2, or all of Philippians in 4 days. From chapter 1 to chapter 4, one chapter a day. Alright? Introduction to the book of Colossians. Battling the cults, or the cults. For everything worthwhile, there exists a counterfeit. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, according to Colossians 2 verse 8. You see them in strange outfits on street corners, chanting phrases with too many vowels and punctuating the chants with a noisy tambourine. Or in airports, thrusting books or flowers into your face. You think of them as crazy cults, populated by misfits. Then one day you hear about a friend of yours. She seemed normal until suddenly, without warning, she snapped. Her parents searched desperately, even hiring private detectives to help get her back. They found her surrounded by Alice, with a new name, a new hairstyle, and so it seemed, a new brain. She stared at them with clear eyes and told them they are missing out on the most wonderful experience of life. She had joined a cult. A breeding ground. Cults come in all varieties. Often with exotic names like Urantia or the Church of Scientology or Scientology. They demand much from their members, a lifetime of discipline and absolute loyalty. And they also promise much in return. The pathway to a secret, hidden knowledge available only to those who follow them. The first century town of Colossae was a perfect breeding ground for cults. Situated in a major trade route from the east, Colossae entertained a steady stream of Oriental traders with mysterious religious ideas. Even Jews in that area worshipped angels and river spirits. Early Christian converts soon confronted new variations of the gospel. Then as now, many cults did not reject Jesus Christ outright. They merely worked him into a more elaborate scheme. Christ and simple forms of worship. They taught refined for beginners, but for the deep things of God, well, some further steps would be required. The best defense. Paul doesn't give a complete glossary to code of the hollow and deceptive philosophy the Colossians were sorting through. From his arguments, we can gather that the philosophy must have included strains of Jewish legalism mixed in with angel worship, Greek philosophy, and strict self-denial. The best defense is a good offense. Rather than attacking each peculiar belief point by point, Paul countered with a positive theology. The principles he outlines in the book can be used today to judge new cults. Christ is enough, Paul declares. He is God, the fullness of God, and the one who made the world, the reason that everything exists. All the mystery and treasure and wisdom you could ask for are found in the person of Jesus Christ. There is no need to look elsewhere. To continue, approach God directly. Because Jesus bridged the chasm between God and us, we don't have to approach God indirectly, through a ladder of angels or other gods. We have no need to prove our worth through superior behavior. We can come to God directly and boldly because of Christ. As for Jewish practices, they were mere shadows, made obsolete by Christ's coming. Why not concentrate on the actual image that God sent to earth? Before Christ, Paul grants, a mystery was kept hidden for many centuries, according to Colossians 1, verse 26. But with Christ, everything broke out into the open. The fullness of God lived, died, and came back from death in broad daylight. So why settle for counterfeit? So let me proceed to how to read Colossians. Although this letter was written to counter specific problems in the church at Colossae, it includes some of Paul's most eloquent writing about Jesus Christ. Chapter 1 contains a soaring paragraph, according to chapter 1, verses 15 to 20, that may have been used as a hymn by the early church. Note in this book how Paul concludes all his arguments by referring to Christ. Chapters 2 and 3 deal with dangerous tendencies in Colossae. Paul argues against a mystery, quote-unquote, religion by firmly asserting Christ is a complete expression of the mystery of God. As you read these two chapters, try to imagine what kind of behavior at Colossae troubled Paul. For our reading plans for the book of Colossians, for plan 1, we have an overview of Colossians in one day. So what are you going to do? Just like what we've done, read the introduction to Colossians. By this time, proceed to chapter 1. Noting especially Paul's prayer, which precedes the hymn-like paragraph, stated or indicated in verses 15 to 20. Now, for plan 2, all of Colossians in 4 days, one chapter a day, from chapter 1 to chapter 4. Okay?